Welcome to Advice from Living Podcast. My name is OO Living, and this podcast is proudly brought to you by God Centered Christianity. It's a new year, and we are excited. That is obvious, but the question is, what will you do to make this new year unusual? I know you do a lot of things. The dawn of a new beginning ushers in a parade of opportunities and potentials. We will do a lot of things this new year. We have written it down, we've planned for it, we've resolved. But what will characterize every other thing we will do? Or what would be the bedrock on which other things we would do stand? That is the question. That is what every meaning Christian should ask at the beginning of a new year. If we must have a well meaning new year, more than anything, we must pray for grace. I know it sounds obvious, and we do pray for grace every day. It is one of the foremost and common prayer amongst Christians. I pray it every day, and I believe you also pray every day that God should grant you His grace. And the reason is because we normally ascribe our good works to God's grace. But do we really see it the same way the apostles did? What is grace? Grace is not only God's disposition to do good for us when we don't deserve it. It's not just undeserved favor. It is an actual power from God that acts and makes good things happen in us, to us, and for us. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10, Paul wrote, "But whatever I am, it is all because God poured out his special favor, that is grace, on me, and not without results. For I have worked harder than any of the apostles, yet it was not I, but God who was working through me by his grace." You see the picture here. Grace was given, Paul worked hard, but it was not Paul, it was God. The grace of God was God's acting in Paul to make Paul work hard and to become what he became. So we will do a lot of things this year. We will do all we would do or not do and be all that we would be and not be to the measure of God's grace at work in our lives. You need to take note of that. Let me rephrase it. You do all you would do or not do and be all that you would be or not be to the measure of God's grace at work in your life. So the success of this year is paramount to how much we pray for grace and surrender, not just in words, but in actions to the workings of God's grace in our lives. So my advice concerning what to do to make this year a God-centered year, a year that is characterized by the grace of God, is this: pray for grace. Pray for grace. Every day of your life, you want to live it because God poured his grace on you. And the grace is not just dormant, but the grace is at work. You put the grace of God at work. You work hard because God's grace has been poured on you. And it is not even you. Every good work, every good thing that you do, it is not you, but God at work in you. So that in the end, God will receive all the glory that is due him because he's the one at work in you. So pray for grace. Think on this verse. God is working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases him. Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. I hope you find this episode of Advice from Living helpful. If you do, please kindly share this episode to someone who would also find it helpful. I remain your host, O Living. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.